Yo, what's up YouTube? Danny James here, and in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to do this snapping chain zoom transition inside of After Effects. I got this idea from some music video by Mog's Delegate. You can see it on the screen right now. So that's basically what I'm going to be breaking down. Alright, we're inside After Effects and you have our two clips set up already. If you're starting on Premiere Pro, just highlight on the two clips and replace with an AE comp. Now, one thing that you can notice from here, we have our second clip, which is the close-up of the chain overlapping over this, which is intentional. You will later learn why. You can have this clip end here, but you will always need to extend it later on into the tutorial. I think you'll understand why. So let's say the clip ends here for now, going into this other clip. Right at the beginning of the second clip, Ctrl D to duplicate, right-click, freeze the frame. I want us to draw a quick mask around this chain, something that is almost like a perfect circle. I will isolate this layer only, go to my ellipse tool right here, just click and hold so that you can have these other options. I don't recommend using the pen tool in case you're trying to get a perfect circle. Come into this layer, let's draw a circle. You can hold shift to hold the parameters right. Okay, once you have a circle like that, come back to your selection tool, hit M so that you can see your mask settings, put the mask on none, and then click on the mask again. Now you can highlight on these 4 points and try to move them within this chain. You can click on one point to move it individually like this. Once you have that established, come back to your mask, set it on subtract so that you have everything but what you've highlighted. Now I will rename this layer chain shot freeze frame. I will re-enable every other layer, and then I will squeeze this to my left hand side so that it ends right at the cut. Okay, and then you can see that the clip that is below is still playing underneath. All you need to do is to hit S, add scaling keyframes. We can have this keyframe stay here. You can go a little bit earlier in the timeline and then scale it up like that. Set it on easy ease. So far you should have something like this. Yeah, highlight on these keyframes, go to your graph editor, try to make the transition fastest in the beginning. Make sure you're editing on the speed graph. So I will influence this point so that it's at a right angle. And then I will grab this other one, drag it to the left hand side. So you can see it should be fastest in the beginning. It's still not a proper right angle. I will keep on squeezing this point like that. So that's a good one. And if you play it back, there should be a significant difference. Now I want us to focus on the second part of this, and this is the pendant. The pendant is the inside part of the chain. I'll squeeze this keyframe at the end so that it's at the cut. Now the second part of this, we are going to duplicate this freeze frame, hit Ctrl D. So I'll rename this layer chain shot freeze frame pendant. Okay, I will change the label color for this so that you can uniquely identify it. Now I will isolate that layer with the pendant, hit S and delete those scaling keyframes and make sure the scaling is at the default, which is at 100. Hit M so that you can see your mask settings, put it on add, like that. Now right from this cut, which is the second keyframe for the scaling, we can count 5 frames to our right using page up and page down keys. 5 frames. We will extend this freeze frame for the chain, and we'll also extend this freeze frame for the pendant. Now what that inherently means is that we will have to also cut down on the clip close-up shot of the chain, and at the same time we will extend the clip which is running right beneath so that it can continue playing. And I mentioned this earlier as we were beginning the tutorial, that you'll need your first clip to keep on playing right beneath. Okay, now we can go to our cut, which is right here. Okay, click on the pendant, hit P so that you can add position keyframes, squeeze that keyframe to the end. That is 5 frames later, and then right at this point at our cut, which is the same point as our second keyframe for the scaling for the chain freeze frame, we will squeeze this pendant just slightly to our left, like that, and then put it to easy ease. It should look something like this now. Now we will again go to the graph editor for these keyframes. Make sure the transition is fastest in the middle. So put these as I'm showing you, such that the speed is fastest at the middle. That way you will enable a snapping kind of effect. So you can see it just snaps. Now right here we also need to hold shift and hit T so that you can add the opacity keyframes while still monitoring our other keyframes. So right here it will be at 100. Go a few frames earlier, could be 5 frames or 2 or whatever it is. Put it to 0. No need to put them on easy ease. That way the pendant appears gradually. Okay, now that we have that established, just go to your effects and look for a hue or saturation. Put it right there. Add a keyframe for the channel range. Hit you so that you can see that keyframe. Squeeze it so that it matches the position keyframe. And right here we can just cycle through some colors. And then you can again go to your effects and look for a glow. I personally recommend using the Red Giant Universe glow. It's very straightforward. Put it on that layer. Put the glow above the saturation so that it also affects the saturation. You can reduce the threshold to increase the glow. And if that's not enough, you can always go to your intensity and crank it up if that's what you feel like it. Without the glow, with the glow. So now our clip should look like this. Yeah. And the last step is to add motion blur on these two layers that are constantly moving. You can click here to toggle between stitches and modes, and motion blur should be right there. And our final look is this. That looks really clean. If you want, as I saw on the video, on the initial video itself, what they actually did is that they ensured the pendant came from underneath this layer. So you can put your pendant layer under the chain shot with the freeze frame. That way it just slides in like that. Not really necessary, not a must. I would actually encourage you to remove motion blur from the layer with the pendant. That way it's a bit more clearer. Yeah, but I prefer the former look. That's it from me today. I hope you did enjoy this tutorial as much as I did prepping it for you guys. Also feel free to check out my website at dannyjames.co. I have preset packs and lights that you might find useful and that can really make your editing process much more easier and fun. My name is Danny James. See you in the next tutorial. Peace.